Roughly 8 million pieces of plastic are dumped into the ocean every day. Because of this, it gets harder and harder for ocean life to exist in the sea as they might swallow it or get stuck in it. To help combat that, I went down to my local dumping area with a bag full of bear traps to help.
Hey, just letting you know, you can't do that. Like, legally.
But I already have the traps ordered. They were expensive. And wait, how do you get my number?
Trial and error. There's only like 8 million combinations. But if you want to do something to help the environment, you could, I don't know, participate in my Team C's game jam.
I mean, if you really want me to, I guess I'll do it. Game dev YouTuber and creator of classic games such as The Only Outlaw, Terrified, and Memory Leaks the Game hosted a game jam to raise awareness for Team C's, a project started by MrBeast and Mark Rober to collect garbage from the ocean. I know this is a really crazy and unexpected idea in a video about me making a game for it, but guess what? No, that's completely wrong. I made a game for it. I started off by downloading a new text editor to write down some of the ideas because while Microsoft Word is cool and all, this one has a bird. I decided on this, a fish sports game where you and another player control 2 fish to push the piece of garbage out of the water. This idea shortly fell through because I realized I don't want to set up a party-style controller input system. But don't worry, I have a backup. Another idea I had was to make a game similar to Katamari Damacy. All I had was the name Katamari Damacy, but that's all I needed. The first thing I did was learn how to reparent nodes. In Godot, the way everything works is these things called nodes. They can be put underneath one node, making them the child of it, and when you move the parent, the child moves with it. This is how you add collision and meshes and those types of things to a game. What I want to do is make it so when you touch an object, it removes the collision from it, moves the collision into yours, and then moves the mesh onto you, so you grow into a giant mass of garbage. I set up a little scene with the cube I wanted passed around and some rotating cubes, and with a bit of code, it somehow worked first try. I'm really worried I might actually be becoming a competent game developer. I also did this. Wonder how long I could run this before my computer dies. Next, I got started on the player and stole my own code to make merging objects with the player work. I tried to make the camera rotate with the mouse, but somehow it really screwed with the movement, so I just ignored it and made the camera static. The next thing I did was try to make a water shader because my original plan was you would just be in the middle of the water collecting garbage. Then I realized I have no clue how shaders work and had some really weird results. Hey, would you look at that? A water shader, right here. After I got that set up, I started work on a map. My original idea was you roll around in a pond or some body of water picking up garbage, so I made a mountain range type thing with a pond in the middle, and I did some fancy texturing in Krita. While it was kinda cool rolling around in the middle of this environment, you can only get so much enjoyment out of rolling around on a flat surface, so I released the ball and then scrapped the map. I started again on the map, this time with a much clearer idea. A few scribbles, a road, some buildings, and 2 ominous looking walls. And I really like how it turned out. If you turn it around at all, it's a bit more questionable, but from the front it looks good. Brought it into Godot and pressed the funny button that turns the models into a real object you can interact with. Now this looks really dark and depressing, like every modern AAA game, so I screwed with the environment a bit. No clue what's going on here. I just thought this looked kinda cool. And there we go. Then I tested the picking up of objects by spawning in a bunch of spheres. I also made some particles for when you collect a sphere with Godot's particle system. Next thing I did was model some garbage to be collected. It's like I made a menu and a transition to the game. I also added the timer that counts down until you get sent back to the title screen. Then I thought, what if I added an online leaderboard? Bargy made one and that went well. I watched a tutorial and learned about something called Silent Wolf, which seems to be the best option for my game since it's made for Godot, and I happen to use Godot. How convenient. I made an account and it was actually pretty easy to set up. It even came with an example project to see the scores. Okay, but now I actually have to make the garbage because it's cool having a leaderboard and all, but it's even cooler to actually be able to use it. Next I set them up as props for the ball to stick. Hey, this mouse cursor I made a little bit ago is cool. I'm gonna port that over instead. Okay, now I actually have no excuse to finish setting up the props. It was pretty easy to do, just replace the green ball in collision with the shape of the object. But for some reason the popgun rings, no matter what, would fall through the ground, so I just ignored that and went on. Next I made a how to play menu by just adding another button and wiring it up to this animation. Then I added some good old hyperlinks to that menu. Hey, remember that leaderboard I showed you a bit ago? Well, this is it now. Feel old yet? So I've got all the visuals set up, but now I need all of the audio. I pulled out my mic, made a few sounds, did some editing, and here we go. Beautiful. I also got some music from the Monotone Plus pack because I'd rather not make my own music. Then I decorated an itch page and waited. So a few days later someone joined my Discord server and pinged me with this image. After that they explained how they made a thing to mess with the game, and it's honestly pretty cool. So I downloaded Cheat Engine to see how easy it really is to hack, and wow. So I hacked Bargy's game and made a really basic anti-cheat thing, which I will not be explaining, and an app that lets me delete scores. And there we go, I made a C-themed game for a C-themed jam in a C-themed world. You can check out the game with a link in the description. Also thanks to Polymars for lending me his vocal cords for this video. Donate to Team Seas if you want. They want to raise $30 million by the end of the year to help save the ocean by cleaning up garbage and other stuff like that. Like, subscribe, join my Discord or Guilded server, and bye!